Well, hello. Welcome to the official pep rally in advance of Film Day 2022. I am Amy Lillard, and I am the Executive Director of Washington Filmworks. Thanks for being here, and thanks for getting engaged with Film Day. So I want to start by just giving you, it has been an incredible week, and it is only, what is today, Wednesday? It's only Wednesday, but I just wanted to share with you a couple of really fun updates. The first is we had our first hearing today in the Senate Committee on Business, Trade, and Financial Services. 443 people signed up in support of the bill. I mean, that is just such an incredible number, and that this community is doing a great job advocating for this bill and for the industry. So if you signed up, thank you so much. In addition to that, we had a fantastic hearing today. We had 11 people that Washington Filmworks helped put together, and many others to talk in support of the bill. Lots of support from the senators as well. So you can always check that out archived on tvw.org. So off to a great start on the hearing front. In addition to that, we heard from Chair Mullet that it's very likely that that bill will be voted out of committee next week, which is, you know, we're jumping over the hurdles every single week. So that's good news for us. In addition to that, we have some breaking news in the House side. We are expecting to have our first hearing in the House of Representatives, not this week, but next week. So if you didn't sign on in support of the Senate bill, you'll have another opportunity. And of course, now I'm dying to beat the 443. So if we can get 444 or more signatures in support of the House bill, that would just be fantastic. So as always, we'll send out an action alert to make it easy to do, but looking forward to spreading more information about that when we've got it. So, but we are not here to talk about all of those things. We're here to talk about Film Day, which is tomorrow. So busy week for the film industry. So I wanted to bring in a special guest today. I'd like to welcome our board chair, Don Jensen. I think he's there. We go.
Hey. Hello.
Bit of an introduction. I would say he's a bit of and he's going to hate me to say this, but a legend here in the film industry. He was, at the head of Alpha Cine Labs in Seattle for many, many years, and Post Houses before that. He was the original recipient of the City of Seattle's Outstanding Achievement in the film industry way back when, and he's directly responsible for launching this program. He and a couple of others got together way back in 2006 to get the incentive passed. So with that, as I mentioned, he is now currently our board chair, and he has been on the board ever since we launched. So welcome, Don.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. Fun to be around.
I wanted to bring you here because I think you've been to every single film day. I mean, I think that's a good place to start. And probably seen everything under the sun happen. So I thought, let's start with, can you remind the community about who they're talking to tomorrow? Who are they talking to?
Well, what we'll be doing tomorrow is meeting with members of the House and members of the Senate who represent citizens all over the state. I don't know how many meetings do we have set up?
We have 91 meetings set up tomorrow.
So we're meeting with 91 members of the House and the Senate in a one-on-one way. Small groups of members of the film industry meeting with one senator or representative to discuss the film incentive. Many of us have done this many times over the last 16 years. This is the first time in 16 years that it feels like we're closer to getting the funding raised. And we seem to have a lot of interest. And I expect our experience tomorrow in talking to legislators will generally be positive. Inevitably, there will be some who don't like it, but it should generally be positive.
Well, to that end, most of these meetings are very short. They're scheduled for 15 minutes, maybe 25 minutes tops. So what do you suggest people include in their introductions and approach the conversation?
Well, first of all, hope that it doesn't go 25 minutes. But no, I'm just kidding. What I've seen over the years that seems to have the most effect on these legislators is people telling about their work in the film industry, what they do, who they are, what they do, where they live, and what they do. And especially saying things about, what it has meant to their economic well-being or their business's success if they happen to be the owner of a business. Saying things like that directly to the legislators seems to be effective. It gets them. The other thing we're going to want to do, of course, is encourage them to support our legislation. I got to look at the number. It's the Senate bill, 5760, and in the House, it's 1914. That's a little easier to remember. Mm-hmm. But that's the specific bill that proposes a few changes in the board of directors and in the way the program runs, but also proposes increasing our yearly budget from $3.5 million to $20 million, a significant change. So, but being personal and being direct is important. I think polite is always a good idea. Don't be too woke. Tell them why you want them to support the legislation. You want to ask them what they think of it at some point. And listen to what they say back. Watch for opportunities to prove a point with them in terms of what they say.
I do appreciate your comment about listening. I think we all get a little bit nervous as we sit in those meetings, and it's sometimes hard to listen, but it is really important to listen. I also want to say, Film Day, I've gotten over the years it's not just about the incentive, right? So if you haven't worked on an incentive project, we welcome you. We want you there. This is about the film industry and about, why the film industry is important in Washington State. So, if you haven't worked on an incentive project, that's just fine. Talk about your personal experiences working on a commercial or working in rural Washington or. So if you, make a living in film, tell that story. It's, every story is welcome in that way. So
exactly. I'm seeing some, did I say something confusing about funding? I'm seeing some notes from folks. We have $3.5 million to spend yearly. When a bill passes, it includes 2 years or maybe even 3 years worth of funding, which is why they might think about 10 million being passed. But it's $3.5 million, and that's all we have to spend each year. We sit with that board deciding how to allocate the funds every year, right about this time, and it's $3.5 million. Anyway.
So you had mentioned something earlier in the conversation that I wanted to revisit, which is we have all, been in meetings where the legislator or elected official is either dodging the question and not answering whether they support the film industry, or they just don't support it. So what do you suggest people do in that environment?
Well, if they tell you they don't support it, in a polite way, can I ask why? What is it that you object to? And if you don't get a straight answer, you might just say, can we get more information to you? A lot of people are supporting this. It seems to it will make a big difference in our state. What more information do we need to get you to help you to make a decision about this? That's what I would recommend we say. You've done it too. Do you have other ideas?
Well, don't get mad, right?
Yeah, so don't get mad. No,
we don't want you to get mad. But
it doesn't do any good.
I mean, even, they are expecting this question, right? So when we go into advocacy days, in a normal circumstance, there's many, many advocacy days over the course of a session, and they're expecting you to ask. And so they've got an answer for you. What is really important to this process in general is finding out what they think. right? If we know that they're not supportive, we can go back to them and ask why, or we can get them more information. This Advocacy Day provides us a lot of really valuable information as we work the bill through the system. And if we expect or anticipate roadblocks, we know.
It's useful to know this. Yeah.
Exactly. So all the information is very helpful. I will also take this opportunity, and we'll talk about it later as well, but there's an online form for you to fill out after every meeting so that we get that feedback and we can pass it along and anticipate any challenges or opportunities, moving forward. So in addition, Dawn, tomorrow, as you have many, many years over many times over the years.
I'm getting older every time.
Well, aren't we all? Right?
Yes.
Okay, you hired me. It's okay. Okay.
Yeah, right.
So you have been a meeting lead. Again, meeting leads are in every meeting tomorrow. What is a meeting lead, and what is the role of the meeting lead to kind of give the community some comfort, I think, in who's going to be in the room? Can you explain what that role is?
Well, sure. It's somebody to start the meeting, to set a form and a format, and to help move things along. The main thing I would hope every lead does is invite everybody that's in the meeting to introduce themselves and tell about what they do in the film industry, what their interest in the bill is. Speak personally, speak about what's important to them. And I think the lead needs to set that scene. And then kind of watch how the process is going and interject when it may well be that there's something somebody doesn't know that the legislator's asking about. Hopefully the meeting lead would have that information. Keep an eye on the time. I'm pretty sure the legislator is going to let you know when they're done, though. And sometimes it won't be the legislator, but one of their aides. Sometimes they won't be available. I've never done this in Zoom land.
I know.
So it's been in person, but
they kind of poke their head into the door and they're like 2 minutes. And so we're not in that environment. It'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah, it might be a little bit different. I just don't know how that'll work. It doesn't, we'd like to meet the legislator, but if one of their aides is there, they do a good job of listening to what's going on and they'll report.
I'm so glad you brought that up because, first of all, legislative aides are future legislators. I have seen it.
Yeah, boy, are they ever.
Time in this job. But in addition, that is their job, right? Is to sit with community and people who live in their district to listen to them. Obviously, there's only one legislator. So so again, they're very valuable. They will very diligently take the conversation to the elected official and talk about what they learned. So the other thing that I appreciated what you said, Dawn, was we don't worry about the details. Don't worry about the bill numbers. Don't worry about the details of the bill or the economic impact of the program, right? The meeting lead is there with that information, or will get that information to the elected official. What we really want you to do is settle in and just tell them who you are and why you think film is important. All the other details, we'll take care of it, or the meeting lead will follow up. So with that, Dawn, is there anything else that I am missing you think that we should talk about
Well, again, politeness. Thank them at the end. Thank them for listening. Thank them for having us there. There's no reason to not be polite. We only want yeses from them. We don't want to do things to bring them to no. So, I think that's an important part. And you may find that the legislator, if you live in the district that the legislator represents, and hopefully many of the people in the group will be that, if not most of them, you may find that the legislator wants to engage in a discussion about the district with you somehow. And that's great. Go for it.
Mm-hmm. Just make sure you always circle back to film. That's our
Don't let the film thing disappear, though.
Don't let it disappear. I would like to make a film in that park in my district.
Well, working in film lets me keep living in this district.
Exactly.
That kind of thing is a way to talk.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be fun. It'll be different. I mean, we're all so used to, or many of us are so used to being in Olympia and trailing all over all the various buildings on campus and all of that kind of thing, running into each other.
With a fishtail at the end of the day.
And we aren't going to be drinking a fishtail at the end of the day. Yeah. But But I think it'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, this is the first time we've ever done a virtual film day. So please, and I'll probably repeat this later in the conversation, but give us some grace. We are doing the best that we can. We have scheduled all those 91 meetings in the Zoom land. And so we're doing our best on your behalf. And, there will be inevitably some hiccups throughout the day. So patience and grace we ask of you. So anyway, Don, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
And we'll see you at Virtual Film Day tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning. Yeah.
Cool.
Good. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Just thank Don Jensen. He's just been such a huge advocate for this program for many, many years now. So again, public thanks to Don, who is now our board chair. I am delighted to have Julie join me now, our Director of Operations and Finance, and also Master of all Spreadsheets. That is her job today. She is the one who has been mastering the spreadsheet. So welcome, Julie.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm hanging in there. I'm a little harried. Couldn't get my green screen to work, but we're moving forward.
Right? A little coordinated there.
Yeah. There you go.
So we want to pivot this conversation into giving you some operational and some really some nuts and bolts about tomorrow and how tomorrow is going to work. We have over 200 people who have RSVP'd for tomorrow's event, which that's rad. In addition to that, we have over 90 meetings, as I said. And again, each of these meetings will be most likely closer to 15 minutes, but 15 to 25 minutes. So please be punctual and on time. And they will be in one of two formats. They'll either be in a Zoom, which I feel like most of us are pretty comfortable with in this environment now after several years of the pandemic, or Microsoft Meeting. So those are the two options that are coming up tomorrow. And again, give us some grace. We're all in this together, but Julie's going to take over the conversation now and talk through all of the nuts and bolts about how it's going to work.
Excellent. Thank you, Amy. And I'm going to let you hang out here in case I miss anything. But all of you who have RSVP'd should have recently received in your inbox an email from the info@keepfilminwa with your meeting assignments. Very few districts have 3 meetings, so just be aware that we have assigned you the meetings that we were able to make. It's been a very fast session, so we weren't able to get meetings with all of the legislators. If you find that there is no meeting scheduled for a legislator, please send them an email and let them know that you didn't get a chance to talk to them. We want to make sure that all the legislators feel all of the Keep Film and Law love, even if you were not able to meet with them on a Zoom or a Teams meeting.
And to be clear, we did hear back from them. It's a very short session and they're trying to move a lot of bills right now. So we heard a lot of we really like the film industry, but we can't accommodate it in our schedule. So, just so you know, even if we didn't get meetings, we did hear back from them, nearly all of those legislators. So again, lots of support for us, even if they can't meet with us in person.
Absolutely. Just because there's not a meeting do not take that as an indication that they do not support film. But it is an opportunity for you to reach out to them to just double check what their position is and let them know that, you're asking them to support these 2 bills. So also in that email, it's a little bit of a lengthy email, but you're going to find lots of resources to help you advocate for the film industry. There's going to be a tips sheet on how to lobby. So that will give you a lot of these reminders that we've given you here tonight about being polite, making the ask, all of those things. There's also a spreadsheet that has bios of all of the legislators if you want to do a quick read on who this legislator may be. There's also some information about whether or not they've supported film in the past on past bills and whether or not they're a sponsor on either of these 2 bills. So take a look at that if you're curious. There's also a link to the virtual background, which I should have back here, but let's see if I can bear with me. So this,
By the way, I just want to,
there you
oh,
go.
background, waiting for
Yay.
you to download. I do just want to remember how I said Spreadsheet Julie. I mean, she's like made like a gazillion spreadsheets with anything you ever have wanted to know about these bills, the film industry, or otherwise. So magic happening over there. So
yes. And to that end, there's also a spreadsheet that has a list of all of the meetings that we have and appointment times. So take a look at that. Things do move and shift. We've been working all day today trying to keep up with some of the changes and update things and get the most up-to-date information for you. So if something does shift, if you didn't get an email from me, if you see that something changes, please email info@keepfilmandwa.com, and we will get back to you with either a new Zoom link or information about your meeting. Please do not be shy and let us know if you have any questions.
And we guarantee things will continue to shift and change. Today, I think our dearest newest member, Vicki Berglund Davenport, had about 25 changes to the schedule. So we anticipate that happening tomorrow. Check that public spreadsheet before every meeting.
Yep. Also, just when you get that email, it'll say, please just read over the meetings that you've been assigned. They might not be listed in time order, so it might not start at 9 a.m. It might say 12 p.m. and then there's a 9 a.m. We don't want you to miss your first meeting. It's just how the spreadsheet spit it out. So there are a very, very few people who have RSVP'd where we were unable to get a meeting booked at all. And if you didn't happen to have a meeting, please go ahead and, as we said, call that legislator, write them an email, just get in touch with them to let them know that you did want to meet with them, and that why film is important to you.
Absolutely.
All right. So Amy, do you want to take the last bit of, I think we covered most of these here, on how to participate in the meeting?
We did. I think we've covered all of our bases. Before we sign off, these things matter. I mean, the fact, your actions matter. They are changing the hearts, the minds, the votes of the people who can make this bill happen. And so, even if you're sitting in a meeting and you don't say anything but my name is, and this is what I do in the film industry, that matters. The fact that, we started this journey with 50 people who had RSVP'd for Film Day, and now we're at 227 last time I looked, that's incredible. So I want you to know that what you're doing matters, and it's impactful to what we are very hopeful about in terms of where this bill is going. So thank you for your support. Thank you for signing up for Film Day. Tell us what you learn, and keep with us. It's happening. So thanks for being here tonight, and we'll see you around Film Day.
Thanks so much.
All right.